So now I'm shifting to next stanza. I will read the lines for you. But after the airport's security check, standing a few yards away, I looked again at her, wan, pale as a late winter's moon, and felt that old familiar ache, my childhood's fear. But all I said was, "See you soon, Amma." And all I did was smile, smile, and smile. Children, now the second part of the poem, without any break. The poet has not used any break. She has not given us the full stop before this. Yes, so the second part, when they reached, there is an interlude in between. So they reached the airport, and after all the formalities of security check and all those things, she was on one side of the glass and mother on the other side of the glass. As we know, after the security check, the people, those who have to board the plane, they stay inside, and those who have come to see off the relatives, etc., they stay another side of the glass. So from the glass, through the glass, she looked at her mother once again. And now, as in first stanza, she already used the simile, ashen like that of a corpse. She also used here also, in this stanza also, she looked at her mother. What type of face of her mother was at that time? It was wan, means very dull, lifeless, pale, dull pale. And she has used once again the word pale, emphasizing upon this that there was very less symptoms of brightness, life, you can say full of life. Rather, they were wan and pale, indicating towards lifelessness of the mother because of her old age, because of her sadness, because she was separating from her daughter. Probably she was also having the same thought in her mind that she would not be able to see her daughter once again. The poet and mother, probably both were having the same thought in their minds. So she looked at her mother, wan, pale, and very beautifully. Now the simile is used by the poet. You must appreciate her intense use of such a beautiful simile. She says that she was wan and pale as a late winter's moon. Wow. So you can see here that the mother's face is compared with moon. But what type of moon? Winter's moon, pale and dull. In winter's moon's brightness, you cannot see. It's hazy. It is covered with fog, you can say mist, and in the late night, the moon is not as bright. So very beautifully, she has used winter's moon. Winter in itself is a symbol of death. It is the last part of the years. The years ends with that. So winter is considered as death, symbol of death. So she compares, her mother is very beautiful, no doubt, but it is, like winter's moon, covered with haze, covered with uncertainty. As, fog and haziness shows uncertainty. She is also having uncertainty in her mind, and her mother is also having uncertainty in her mind. So she looked at her mother, wan, pale, as a late winter's moon. So which poetic device is used? I am sure that you all know, since the word as is used here. So it is a, yes, simile. S-I-M-I-L-E. Very good. So, and felt that old familiar ache. What old familiar ache? We have to focus upon this phrase, old familiar ache. Every child has some fear in mind, and that fear of separation from mother. We in our childhood always kept on, roaming around, holding mother's pallu or finger, And if mother is not seen by the child for a long time, he or she starts crying, isn't that? I think you all might have faced or observed this fact. So that familiar ache of her childhood, the fear of separation, that came back to her. At that moment, she realized that mother was old. She had already passed her 66 years. So she was heading towards the end of her life. Any day could be the last day of life. So here you can say that that familiar ache of losing her mother, the separation from her mother came back to her heart. And it was very painful thought. It was really hurting. It was something which nobody would like to stay with. So she looked at her mother's wan and pale face, and it seemed to her as if it was just like winter's moon, pale, hazy. Uncertainty was, covering it. And her childhood fear, that familiar pain came back to her. And that familiar ache of her childhood fear, what was that childhood fear? Was that of getting separated from her mother. And now she was quite aware. She was grown up. Now she knew that this separation would be a permanent separation. So she was quite scared. She was quite, afraid of. And somewhere she was having the sense of guilt also in her mind, that at this moment she needed by her mother urgently. She would have stopped with her mother to take care of her, but it was not possible. She was having other responsibilities also. So, but all I said was, see you soon, Amma. She couldn't speak to her mother anything. It was very difficult for her to explain anything, and in details. She couldn't talk to her mother. Just she waved her hand and said, see you soon, Amma. Students, please focus upon this line, see you soon, Amma. When we visit some hospital, just go through this expression, and when we look at some patient, what do we see? Soon you will get well. There is no need to worry. Means that only we are assuring the person that nothing would happen. Although in our deep heart, we know that probably the patient would not recover, or any fatal thing could happen. But she also tried to assure her mother with her words, see you soon, Amma, assuring her that next time they would meet. She was extending the positivity to her mother that next time definitely they would meet. So here, she assured her mother as well. She couldn't do anything except smiling. As I said, that she smiled and smiled at her mother. She gave wide smile to her mother. Another way of assuring someone positivity, extending positivity. So she wanted to somehow minimize her guilt, and somehow she wanted to give the positivity to her mother that definitely next time they would meet. Probably she wanted to minimize the agony of her heart and the agony of her mother's heart as well. The feel of separation was too acute for both of them. Mother feeling sad, getting separated from her daughter, and daughter also having a sense of guilt in her heart that she could not stay with her mother at this time when her mother needed her help, too much. So we can say here that the poet has used the poetic devices, just focus upon, as simile, as a late winter's moon, and she used here another poetic device, that is a repetition. Smile, smile, and smile. So students, please focus upon the poetic devices once again. There are two similes used in this. First is the simile ashen like that of a corpse. And in second part, the simile is as late winter's moon. Then in first part, there is the poetic device used, that is imagery, in which she has used young trees sprinting and merry children spilling out of their homes. And in second stanza, she has used the, the repetition, that is smile, smile and smile. Side by, she has used lots of symbols, as we can say winter, that is the symbol of death. And we can say here that she has used the symbol by saying see you soon amma, the symbol of surety. So students, please go through these explanations once again. Go through the poem, the lines, the poetic devices, and now come to the important questions. All the poetic devices are very important. The explanation part of that is, how would you explain merry children spilling out of their homes? How would you explain the trees sprinting? What do you understand by, you can say, ashen like that of a corpse? And what was the purpose of using the repetition in the end? What explanation would you provide for late winter's moon? And do you think the poet was having a sense of guilt? All these questions are quite important. Prepare the answers with the help of this video. I end the video here for this poem. Please stay at home, stay healthy, and enjoy the explanation. Prepare the notes for you. I will provide the audio as well for this, and I will provide a worksheet as well for this poem. The title of this poem is equally important. Students, please do not forget the name of the poet, that is Kamala Das. So goodbye, students.